It has been about 2 weeks now since we recorded the last one of these, and at that time we were talking about doing all kinds of tank testing in Mythic Plus. If you guys haven't heard, I apologize, but they're no longer allowing that. At the time we were able to make templates that literally just started at 60 with everything unlocked, and you were able to go buy legendaries and conduits and shortcut all these things. They took it all out. Now we're testing from 50 onward, like if the game's actually live. So it is still possible to do Mythic Plus on all 6 tanks, but I would have to level them all, have to gear them all, which right now the only options seem to be dungeons and maybe world content. And then I would have to get keys and push keys. You'd be starting at key level 2 and all that. So maybe it does disappoint some, but I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to level 6 characters 2 months from launch. So I'm going to do it on live, hopefully, but not now. So anyway, that's where we're at. I just wanted to give that a little heads up in case some people still aren't aware of that. But there is a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're back to just kind of reading and talking about it like we were at the beginning of the expansion, at the beginning of the beta, that is. But let's get to it, because there is actually a fair amount of stuff, especially with Druid Conduits and all that. So we're going to get to it now. A lot of these posts are going to be from 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, whenever. I'm going to try to put all of these in the description, so in case anybody has trouble following along, that will be where you'll want to go. And let's get to it. So this was 2 weeks ago now. We talked about this, a couple changes. Just go through all these changes. And there's a lot to go through, and we'll see. You'll see why a lot of it's confusing. First of all, this was one of the first things that got brought up 2 weeks ago. The Death Knight section has something about blood decay, and it says Scourge Strike will hit up to 4 enemies near the target. At the time, I thought they meant Hard Strike, obviously. Hard Strike currently, if you read the tooltip, it says 3. You can't see it because the webcam, but it says 3 targets near the end or whatever. So, I don't know what that is. I don't think this is a change to Hard Strike whatsoever for blood decay. So, yeah. I know it's about D&D, obviously. I was reading Hard Strike, but yeah, either way, this is not a change for blood decay. It's some change for unholy decay that is just also in the other sections, and I don't know what that is, so not related. Real quick, since we see this here, the DK I did level to 60 and start to gear up, and we did some raid testing with it yesterday, which was actually really fun. I used Abomination Limb. I took Necrolord Covenant. The actual healing wasn't great of Fleshcraft, but I feel like if you used it well, it could have been. Is there like an overall or something? Let's see. Probably not, but yeah, I mean, it's decent. It's certainly like, it's the only defensive, like, minor Covenant ability or whatever, so I think it's pretty cool. But Abomination Limb's offense maybe is worth checking out. Let's see if we can see an overall on that too. I think it reset though, but anyway, Abomination Limb is doing really good damage, and I think it's probably got to be the highest damage one, because I can't see how. Maybe it's not though. You never know. Maybe the Revendreth one is better, but yeah, it's really good. So I'm pretty satisfied with Necrolord, man. I'm really on the fence right now between Necrolord and Night Fae, but we'll see. We'll figure that out as we go. So anyway, that's pretty much it for that Blood DK section. Then there's a bunch of other Druid stuff, and this is where things start to get really confusing to me, because you start seeing things like this, and I just don't know what these things mean. And then you got people like reacting to them like if there's something. So I don't really know what this means. Like, well, effect 6, apply aura, modify damage / healing done, value -37%, affected spells, blank. People are like, it's a 37% buff to Guardian Druid's damage. I'm like, what? How do you know that? Are you sure? So like, this is going to be the theme of this video. Like, what the hell does this even mean? Maybe you guys can learn something from reading this or hearing it, but I don't know what this means, so I can't react to it. This is everywhere. It's not just them. Like, here's one for Resto, and then soon we'll see it again. Like, it's everywhere on Druid, and I don't know what that is or what's going on with that. So if you know, let me know. But here's the big one. This one really caught a lot of people's attention, and I still don't, like, I feel like I'm missing something here, okay? So when this happened, people were freaking out. I guess, this is really funny. I always find myself in this position. All through BFA, I thought Prop Pally was one of the best tanks, especially for Mythic Plus. And everybody was like, "You're an idiot. They're one of the worst tanks, if not the worst tank." I'm like, okay. And now, I feel like Brewmaster is one of the best tanks for Mythic Plus, and everybody's like, "They're terrible," blah blah blah, all this stuff. I'm like, okay, well that's whatever. And then they do this, and people, I saw a post, the nail in the coffin for Brewmaster. How many people are gonna have to re-roll? Because like all these people who had Brewmasters for raid progression and shit. And this is it. This is the change here. Celestial Brew. Now read what it says, okay? Purifying Brew increases the absorption of your next Celestial Brew by up to 400%. Nope, now it's 200% based on stagger purified. Next thing, a swig of strong blah 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 blah. Purifying stagger damage increases absorption up to 400%. Actually, now it's 200. Purifying Brew. Now that's a different. Clears 50% of your damage delay with stagger. That sounds like that'd be useful. Increases the absorption on your next Celestial Brew by up to 400. I mean, 200%. So they just changed the Purifying Brew interaction with Celestial Brew. They didn't change anything else. What this changes, like to me, this is what this is. If you nerfed the maximum amount of potential Death Strike got based on the damage you took, because that's what this is, right? If you think about this, this is just a reverse Death Strike mechanic. So you get hit really hard, and then you use Purifying Brew to give yourself a giant shield afterwards. You understand? Like, that's what it is, right? Like, if you got hit for like 1,000,000,000% and you had maximum stagger and you cleared that, that's like a reverse Death Strike, because now you put the shield up and it's massive compared to otherwise. There's a minimum amount it is, and then there could have been a maximum, which was absurd. All the discussion I was having was about the minimum. Like, the minimum shield is absurd. It's my top. It's out healing blood decay. Brewmaster, out healing blood decay. You understand this? Without this 400% part thing. Like, I was never even using. I was barely even using Purifying Brew. Go back and look at the testing. It's ridiculous. So I don't know. Like, I don't think this is a problem. Like, what did you want? The shield to be like 5 times your health pool? It was just gonna expire. I mean, I had it expire a lot when I was doing testing. So I don't know. But yeah, this is not a. I don't think this is a problem at all. I don't see this as really a nerf. I mean, it is a nerf, but it's like such a minuscule nerf, especially like you'd have to be gaming this to maximize 400% more Celestial Brew. Like, that's ridiculous, guys. Come on. It's like a freaking 80k absorb. What do you want that to be? 500k absorb when you have 40k health? Like, come on. So anyway, yeah, that's it for this week. No, there's also Holy Pally, or Pally in general, changed to Blessing a Winner. I still don't really know what they're doing with this talent or this Covenant ability, so that's pretty much it. But anyway, so let me know what you think about the Druid stuff. If this anything means anything here. And then, yeah, am I missing something about Purifying Brew or Celestial Brew more so? Because people were like losing their minds about it. This was 2 weeks ago now. Everybody's moved on to whatever else is hot now. But I was really surprised. So I don't know. Anyway, so then we have a new situation here. Yeah. Oh, wait. No, okay. Yeah, this right. Now, so now this is this week's post. Okay, so, yeah, so this is how we're going to do this. So we're going to look at spell diffs from 2 weeks ago, and now we'll look at this week, and this is everything you've missed, okay? Which is very little. So here's Death Knight again. They got their new legendary. If you haven't been following, Frost did not have its final legendary. They finally got it. Obliterate has a 15% increased chance to trigger Rhyme, and Howling Blast generates blah 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 runic power. So yeah, no way to activate this as a blood decay, right? There's no. We've been talking a lot about legendaries that have potential use on different specs than the ones they're intended for, and there's no use for this one, right? So that's it. Anima powers, which we're not really too worried about. And here we go back again. Hey there, guys, it's Metro. Today we're back. More these spelled like coefficient. I don't know what to call it. It's just weird changes. So like this one actually has affected spells. It's talking about regrowth. It seems to be regrowth. I think it's the same way for Feral. Yeah, it's got all of them the same. 43%. Like I don't know. It's like a 43% nerf or something. It's not actually 43% of 83, but you know what I mean. So yeah, it's worse, I guess, somehow. I don't know what this is, modifies power cost. So I can't read this. I don't speak this language. If you do, let me know. But I don't know what the hell that means. Because then down here, it says they're buffing it. Like, what did they do in here? Would they nerf it? No, it's like the same. They buffed it for every spec. Feral. Oh, no. God damn it. Feral, Guardian, and Initial, which is, yeah, funny. Heals a friendly target for more and more. And then Resto and Balance. So they buffed it for all the class, and then they nerfed it here, I guess. I just don't know what any of this means. I really don't. If you could help me, please do. But that's it. And then there's a bunch of new Soulbind Conduits, which we're going to talk about in a different post, because there's stuff to talk about there. But otherwise, oh yeah, is their Covenant ability changes too. They buffed Adaptive Swarm, so that's a pretty big deal. That was already looking like one of the best, if not the best one for Bear. Oh, they buffed the healing of it. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. I'll have to give that another try. I don't know what this one is. Honestly, Kindred Empowerment is like maybe the one that I'm the least excited for across all 6 tanks. It's kind of sad. And that's it. That's all they did for that. And then the rest are just regular classes. Now, Monk again. Here's Monk. One small change here. It seems that they're buffing Vivify too. Maybe they're buffing all heals across the board or something, because we're going to see that a little bit, but not really sure. All we know is that they're buffing Brewmaster's Vivify by that amount there. And then also we got more of this nonsense, which I don't know what. I really just don't. I'm not even going to talk about it. But this is all Mistweaver stuff. But there's also one more thing here. It says here in the Vivify section, Brewmaster, Windwalker, Initial, and again Mistweaver all got these buffs for Vivify. So like, and then there's also buffs to Chi Burst and Chi Wave. So seemingly, I don't know what this actually means, all this stuff, but seemingly Brewmaster is going to have access to slightly more healing than they did the previous build. That sounds like a good thing, but who knows if that's the truth or not. And then Paladin, a lot of changes to Holy Paladin. We've been talking a lot about Holy Paladin, coincidentally, and they were really just kind of nerfed, I felt like they just were weak. And then I think they just got buffed. Like, I think every heal just got buffed. I mean, I could read this part. I don't know about this Crusader Strike change. Oh, that was a rank change. Or was it? I don't know. Either way. Yeah, Holy Light. We're not really talking about this, but yeah, they buffed every heal. And coincidentally, this spills over into Prot, where Judgment of Light gets a slight buff. I think they even buffed... Yeah, Word of Glory also gets buffed here. So that's a big deal. Now, come on now. They're buffing Word of Glory for Prot? Oh, no, don't even say that, man. This is going to be ridiculous. Yeah, so they buff Word of Glory for Prot. Flash of Light, too, gets buffed. So all of the healing, just like we talked about with Brewmaster and Bear, Regrowth and Vivify, also for Paladin, that kind of thing gets buffed. And then there's this here. I don't know what this is. Increase the duration of all blessings by 10%. Now I try to look at this. I'm going to do it again here. I try to look at this, and it takes me to some nonsense from Classic. And then like you read about it. Last time it was changed was Wrath or whatever. That's Kata. So I don't know what this is. It's like a Paladin specific thing or something, like some kind of aura. I don't know if this is a thing. Increase the duration of all blessings by 10%. If that is actually a thing that Prot has that no other spec has, then this just makes them even better utility tanks. I'm not sure if that's the case. Anyway, here's the big one. So if you guys haven't seen it, legendary powers. There was some other changes as well, but this is the only one that you need to know about. So, and this is kind of what's going on right now here. Superstrain also applies the other two diseases at reduced effectiveness. So I don't know what that means. You know what that means. I don't speak that language, but reduced effectiveness to me means probably like 50% nerf. I don't know. I have no way to test it because I can't figure out how to get legendaries in the beta. Does anybody know? I know you guys watch a lot of like more serious streamers who are trying to get ready for world first shit. What are they doing? How did they get legendaries? Because I can't figure it out. I've tried everything. I have no idea. So I cannot figure out a way to get this legendary to test it. If I could, I would be doing that. But maybe somebody else already knows. But that's pretty much it. It's a huge change, presumably. But honestly, unless it literally does nothing, it's still going to be the best offensive legendary in the game for any tank, I believe. Because the fact that the big thing here is that Blood Boil spreads to every target. So if there's ever a situation where there's like 100 targets, Superstrain is by. I mean, it's just going to do the most damage out of anything in the game. But anyway, so now we have some Soulbind. So now this is again from 2 weeks ago. And then some changes came this week. So let's go. We got Druid Conduits, and this is really some interesting stuff here. So this is just a generic Druid one. Barkskin's cooldown is reduced by 10%. So I called this weeks ago. This is going to be have a huge impact with the Druid legendary, and I'm really excited to see this. Presumably because it's going that green number as you've seen is going to be that 10% there, and it's going to be potentially maybe 20-30% in the future. Who knows how this is actually going to work out? I'm not really sure yet, but yeah, I would say that this number is going to go up. So that's a good thing for Bear, and I'm really excited to see how that works with that legendary. Then we have some other cool ones. For 4 seconds after shifting into bear form, your health and armor increase. Now, this is nice for bear because people are always talking about how squishy they are in the pull. And a lot. I think when we had this conversation in BFA, people were saying it's because you have to constantly shift out of bear form to maximize your spec. And then when you shift in, you start with no resources. So it's just like Blood DK, but it's worse than Blood DK because even if you do go into the pack with high rage, you lose it when you shift out. So I was just like, then stop doing that if you're so concerned. But yeah, obviously this now can help with that, I believe. I mean, it depends on how much armor and health we're talking about here. But I mean, it could be a lot, right? I mean, I don't think it's going to be $300,000 worth of health. I don't think it's going to be that much, but it could be maybe, like $250,000 or something. So we'll see. Anyway, no, that's fine. So we also got a regrowth, frenzy, regeneration, healing is increased by 12% in your health. So regrowth, I still don't know what they're doing with that spell, but yeah, frenzy, regen, 12% buff. So it's kind of just buffing it back to where it was in BFA, if I remember the changes correctly. But still, again, that number presumably can keep going up. So I just really wonder what like the outer reaches of this system are going to look like. Like imagine down the road when we have like a 50% increase to frenzied regen. Like think about where Azerite armor started and where it ended, and that's kind of what you have in this this system. I feel like I'm really excited for the numbers, just to see how high they can get. So anyway, so here's some more Guardian ones. There's only 2, I guess, but when you fall below 25% health, you cast frenzy regeneration once every 90 seconds. So that's pretty cool. And I mean, these are both endurance conduits, so I think it's going to be relatively rare that you get more than one endurance conduit. Maybe not. There's probably a couple options to it. I think that's like most soulbind trees have 2 of one thing, and in order to get both of them, you're probably going to have to take a very specific route, obviously. So yeah, it's not highly likely, but yeah, I think that's going to be something that I would love to see it, because I would love to take this, and then like you could switch between like, oh, do I need a ton of self healing? Good, then we'll take this. Or do I need am I getting dropped a lot? Maybe we'll take this. Or do we need a little bit more bulk on the pull? Because obviously this is pretty much only for 5-mans, right? You're never going to shift in and out for raids, not in between bosses or nothing like that matters. But the one thing I should have mentioned about that too is that it also is really good for a Guardian or for a Resto Druid too, and even the other specs too, because if you remember in Legion, that was pretty much like the main way that Resto Druid remained viable, was because they like everything was like a targeted one-shot basically, so you can just shift into bear form before it happened and you'd survive. So now that makes that even better. So it's really probably even better for Resto Druid than it is Guardian. But and then anyway, this is like the main one here that came from the Azerite ability and all that. I think it was actually in Legion too, but Iron Fur has an 8% chance to apply 2 stacks. So yeah, that's pretty good. A lot of people think this should just be a baseline thing for Bear. I don't know. I still can't find anybody who like actually believes Bear is strong right now. So it's tough to have a discussion. But anyway, yeah, I think that's cool. 8% seems relatively low though compared to where it is now. Isn't it way higher than that? Who knows? And then anyway, some finesse conduits. Rebirth grants the target 50% movement speed. So that's cool. Well fed and movement speed and all that. It's kind of like the Azerite trait. Stampeding Roar's radius and duration are increased by 15%. Now, this is a really interesting one. If it was speed, I think this would probably be one of the best ones in the game. increasing the duration is nice, but I don't know how good that is. Just because I'm not sure like when you're gonna want to do that. Like usually it's just like, all right, quick burst of speed. That's all we need. And 15% it's really not that high realistically. It's only gonna be like a second or something like that extra. So I don't think that really stands up to the rest of these, honestly. But we'll see. Just the fact that Stampeding Roar is like the main reason that they could have ever been strong in raids, and then they have conduits for it. Obviously, that's huge. But hey, the cooldown of Mighty Bash, Mass Entanglement, and Heart of the Wild are reduced by 10%. Which one of these is unlike the other? Mass Entanglement, Mighty Bash, these are low CD things anyway, and then Heart of the Wild's got 5 minutes CD, so 10% reduction on that. Problem is, those are all talents, so I don't know. Like they're really trying to make Heart of the Wild into something, and it's just a talent. It's kind of strange, but I'll see how this goes. I don't know. Heart of the Wild, man. I'll tell you what. We got a lot of value out of that in the old days, and I'm really hoping that I see a lot of value out of that in the new days. So we'll look at it down the road. Now, quickly going to go through all these non-Guardian ones, because just in case, Star Surge and Starfall have an 8% chance to extend Eclipse or Moonfire. So yeah, realistically, very limited uses for Bear. I don't see anybody ever worrying about that. These are potency ones, by the way. So there's only 2 Druid Guardian potency ones. So, like, if you wanted to have a couple right now, you'd have to even consider taking one of these. But anyway, Moonfire increases your arcane damage to the target, and Sunfire increases your nature damage to the target. Now, that one's actually interesting because that could be used for Resto too with Sunfire. But if you remember, Moonfire was like one of the best spells in the game for a while because of the Legion legendaries, and even in BFA, it still was like top damage under many circumstances. So I like the concept of Bear having Moonfire. I just always have and probably always will. It's nice to have like a strong, spammable dot. Like it just doesn't have any resources. It's not like Blood DK's Death Caress. It's an entirely separate dot. You know what I mean? So I really like that, and I wish that I played Druid more just because of that. So, but who knows how good that's going to be. This is completely useless, and this is completely useless. Ferocious Bite. Now, these are Feral Druid things, so unfortunately, yeah, I mean, it's a weak spec anyway, you know, so why would you want them? But, you know, this could be useful for cat weaving. I don't know how often bears even consider doing that. Like, I feel like the answer is never, but I do know in some raids I've seen people do it when they're not tanking. It's probably a smart idea, but anyway, then here's the Guardian ones. You gain 10% haste during Berserk. Now, Berserk is a really strong CD, and I'm a little disappointed that it's not reducing the duration of it. I was really hoping to see that for both Dancing Rune Weapon and Berserk for Blood DK and Guardian, and we haven't seen it yet. So, yeah, 10% extra haste during Berserk is just like, ugh. I mean, what are you going to get? One more spell off? I mean, eventually it'll be higher, which is cool, but Berserk is like just... like it's aptly named. Let's put it this way: you go freaking Berserk's mode, like unbelievable. But like the kit is so weak. Besides that it feels like, all right, let's take an ability, let's take a Covenant thing that makes the strongest like 20 seconds of our kit even better. I don't know if I would do that. You know what I mean? Unless you're only after like burst offense or something. So. Mangle increases the damage of your next maul by 10%, stacking up to 3 as well. So I think that's something that's in BFA as well. But again, using maul as a bear, I don't know. It's cool, but these suck, honestly. Like, these are really weak, and I hope there's more coming. So, and then here's these ones for the actual Covenant ability ones. Kindred Spirit's empowerment cooldown is reduced by 10%. Adaptive Swarm periodic effect is by an additional 6%. Really, it's just as chalk as you can get with these, but Convoke the Spirits, damage and healing are increased by 12%, and Ravenous Frenzy increases your critical strike by 2%. So, like, okay, so you got this one plus this one. You pop these two, you got Berserk and Ravenous Frenzy at the same time. That's how I was using it. Both 2-minute CDs, I think. Both the same. Yeah, I was using them at the same time, regardless, a lot in the testing, and it was, like, actually pretty nuts, to be honest. Like, you would do a lot of damage with both of them up. So if you did both of them up with both of these, then okay, maybe you're now doing like really good damage. Who knows whether it's going to be valuable or not. But and there's also Resto Druid. Wild Growth healing falls off 30% less over time. This is actually pretty good for Guardian because, you know, a lot of people do use a lot of Wild Growths, especially since you're going to be Resto form a lot. or whatever, resto affinity a lot. But yeah, again, are you going to take a potency conduit that makes your healing better? I doubt it. Clear cast regrowth, I don't think this is a thing. Swiftman's healing is increased by 30% of the consumed heal over time effect. So if you're not aware, they nerfed Swiftmend, so it has to eat a hot again. Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. Again, these are like good for resto, but they're also good for bear, because a lot of these spells are important in between packs in Mythic Plus. But would anybody ever take these over an actual bear one? I hope not, but the answer could be yes, because the bear ones could be so bad that these are actually better. And I kind of like that concept, as stupid as that sounds. I wouldn't mind taking a resto druid potency conduit. It sounds fun, but that probably means that the bear ones are that bad that it's just not worth having. And anyway, and then we also have I don't know what this is here. It's like a whole. I'm gonna read this. This build also adds new conduits for rogues, plus many changes to druid, monk, paladin, and priest conduits. Okay, so this is what it says here: druid conduits. So now instead of just having like the static numbers, we have like the actual scaling of them, and that's it. That's literally it. That's the only thing that's actually changed on any of these. It's like, oh, it says 10.0%. It's like, okay, great. So where's the guardian ones? When you fall below 25% health, you cast frenzy regen once every 90 seconds. Oh, this is actually kind of cool. Wow, look at this. So it's modifying. I guess it makes sense. I thought it would be modifying the health percentage, but it's actually modifying once every 90 seconds. So it's going to go down to 81 seconds and then 75, and it could go down to 37 seconds. Wow. But I mean, first of all, if you're falling below 25% health every 35 seconds, well, maybe you should play a different tank or something. Anyway, Druid Guardian 4 Iron Fur has an 8%. Yes, this goes right up to 19%. So I don't know. I wish it was higher. Anyway, potency, you gain 10% haste during Berserk. That goes up to 24%. And then the Mango one, 10% stacking all the way up to 24%. So that's 24% stack up to 3. So 24 times 3 is, wow, 107%. That's not bad at all. That's pretty good. So, and then same with these Druid ones. Falls off 30% less over time. Regrowth, additional healing, blah, blah, 24%. So 72% less over time is cool, but who knows? And here's the generic ones. Where's the bear form one? This is cool one. Oh, health and armor increased by 0%, so it starts at 0. So that's a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. I was really hoping for $340,000 percent, but instead we got 0%. So I mean, that's just kind of where bear's at right now. So thanks for watching. We'll see it now. But anyway, it goes all the way up to 26%. So is it actually going to be percentage? See, I thought it was going to be like a number. Okay, so your armor is going to be increased by 20%, basically, like on average. That's surprising to me. I don't know if that is actually going to be the case, but okay, that's kind of overpowered, isn't it? It only lasts for 4 seconds, though, I guess. But honestly, if that's kind of like overpowered. Isn't that going to mean like? Isn't this going to turn bear form into like optional? Like you're going to be like, hold on a second. Let's be serious here. Maybe I'm miscalculating things. This happens all the time with me, but if you got a 28% buff to have both your health and armor, isn't that your best defensive CD? Like, isn't that better than using Iron Fur? Why would you not use Iron Fur and then shift bear form real quick? Like, I mean, I guess because you're going to get meleeed when you're not in bear form, but like, can you still calculate swing timers in this game? I don't know. Like, this is kind of bizarre to me. I thought it was going to be a flat amount, so it was going to be relatively weak for bear, and it was just going to be better for other people, other specs. But even starting at 12%, I mean, a 12% increase to your health and armor. Isn't that your best defensive CD? I'm confused. Anyway, frenzy regen increased by 12% all the way up to 28%, so that's cool. And that's pretty much it. So nothing else changed here. Some conduit changes for holy. Paladin, prop Paladin didn't really get any changes. Again, it's just these changes to this and doesn't have the actual list, so we can't really look at them, but that's pretty much it, guys. So hopefully, again, I apologize to anybody who got like confused or baited or doesn't follow the changes enough to know that this was how it was. Like a lot of people, like there was like a comment like 2 days ago, like what happened to the vengeance stuff that I said I was going to do. As this change happened to beta, I was supposed to cover vengeance and Pra. It was the only 2 tanks I hadn't done yet. So now that voting looks really bad, right? Like, but I just can't do it anymore. Like unless you want me to like spend like, you know, like 100 hours on this character to get it geared and try to do 2s and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do that. So maybe they will change it back, and if they do, I'll certainly I'll continue for sure. 100% resume is what I was trying to say, but I will definitely resume if they do allow me to do what I was doing again. But right now I can't get legendaries, I can't get conduits. I mean, we did all of that. We did normal Castle Nathria last night, and I did not have a legendary, a soulbind. I had no conduits. I had not a thing. Literally nothing other than being max level. And I had the fucking cloak on, which was proccing and was overpowered. It's like, this is not raid testing. Why are we doing this? This is not what the raid is going to be like when we get here. It's retarded. It's just a waste of time. It's a waste of Blizzard's time. What are they going to learn from seeing people with, you know, literally level 50s getting scaled up to 60, BFA gear on, scaled up to 60. Why would they ever test that? I don't know what their purpose is right now, but that's that. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.